Today we're going to be going over my top 10 list of books that dropped this week, November 16th for New Comic Book Day. We had a ton of brand new series come out this week, and some of the ones that I'm going to be talking about today. From Image, we've got Chroma, issue number 1, and then from Marvel, we've got Blade, Vampire Nation, Goblin, Murder World, Avengers, and in addition to that, I'm going to be going over a lot of other books as well. But as always, as I begin to talk about these books, just be aware that there's definitely going to be spoilers. But to give you a heads up, I put a little spoiler tag down below in the corner to give you a heads up that a spoiler is about to happen. And now, without further ado, let's get started on this week's top 10 list. And here we go, everyone. Kicking this top 10 list off first, we've got coming in at number 10. This is Marvel's new one. We've got Goblin, issue number 1. This is cover A. So I went into this one with extremely low expectations. I honestly wasn't even sure if I was going to be picking this one up. See, I'm not caught up in the current Amazing Spider-Man ongoing series. I did read almost all of the Nick Spencer stuff, the Beyond Corporation stuff. I really didn't like that at all. But I started reading the most current ongoing series. I think the first like 5 or 6 issues. And for the most part, I really didn't like that either. But we got a new one, Goblin. I thought to myself, why not give it a try? It focuses on Norman Osborn. Maybe I'll like it. So some of the stuff I did like about it is I like the artwork, and I also like that they kind of dove into Norman Osborn's just inner self. He's dealing with a lot of the problems that he's dealing with from the Nick Spencer run. I'm not going to be getting too into it, but everything that he dealt with Sin Eater, a lot of that is happening in this issue. But for the rest of the issue, because they were dealing with a lot of his inner problems, I thought for a first issue it was extremely boring. Just my opinion, but they did get into the Goblin stuff. We did get to see some action. Some spoilers are about to come up, but one of the things I did like about it is that the world found out that he is the Goblin. But the problem with that is that they called him the Goblin. He's trying to get past that. But then some other stuff happens. We get some cool action, and then we get left on a little bit of a cliffhanger. We see that he's kind of just enjoying people referring to him as the Goblin now. We'll see where it goes. I'm going to read the next issue. Let's talk about it more down below. But for those reasons, we've got coming in at number 10 this week, we've got Marvel's new one, Goblin, issue number 1. And next up this week, we've got coming in at number 9. This is Marvel's Namor the Submariner, Conquered Shores, Part 2. This is cover A. So I had a hard time picking between this one and the Goblin issue to get that 10th spot, but I ended up picking this one in at number 9, mainly because while I do think the story is still very boring, there is a nice mystery behind everything that's going on. There is a developed plot that could go in multiple different directions, and honestly, while like I said, I do think the story is boring, there is a lot of different stuff that's currently happening. So we're on the surface world. It is still ending. Namor is trying to convince everyone that there is room in Atlantis, there's room underwater, and we can bring all the civilizations down there, but there still are a lot of problems down there as well. But everyone on the surface world, they just don't really want to go about that. So that's kind of one plot that's currently going on, but another one that's still very interesting is if you can recall from that first issue, all the heroes left Earth for some big Kree war, and no one ever returned. So that's kind of why the world is the way it is right now. Some sort of virus or something happened to the planet, and now it's basically in ruins. So with all that being said, the Human Torch was flying around, and they're wondering if he's here, who else is still around? And because of that, they're trying to figure out if they can replicate the Human Torch's eternal fire, and that's how they're going to fix all the problems down in Atlantis. So like I said, a lot of stuff is going on in this series. There's a lot of just mystery behind everything, but I mean, it's still a little bit boring of a story right now. I'm going to be continuing on with it, and for those reasons, we've got coming in at number 9 this week, we've got Marvel's Namor the Submariner, Conquered Shores, Part 2. And now we've got coming in at number 8 this week, we have Images, Nita Hawes' Nightmare Blog, issue number 10. This is cover A. I absolutely love this series, and I think they are doing a phenomenal job on the story. And the artwork is very solid as well. But with all that being said, if you are only reading this series and not Philadelphia or vice versa, you are making a massive mistake. Try to find some of those back issues, grab some trade paperbacks, because both of these stories are phenomenal. And as this series progresses, they're making more and more references to Philadelphia. And I think with a lot of the stuff that got revealed in this issue, it's going to be happening a lot sooner than later. So take that for what it is, but like I said, I love both these series and I highly recommend them both. So this issue didn't have a lot of action. It was absolutely a little bit more on the slower side, not bad by any means. They really progressed the story. We learned a lot more about the demons, and man, we got to see Lucifer. A lot of really good stuff happened in this issue. They made some references to the last kind of volume, the last arc, everything that was going on with Coulson. He was just kind of just disturbing everything, but now Lucifer got a whiff of what he was doing, and he wants a piece of the action himself. So like I said, highly recommend this series. Definitely check it out. And for those reasons, we've got coming in at number 8 this week, we've got Images, Nita Hawes' Nightmare Blog, issue number 10. Next up at number 7, we've got Marvel's new one, Blade Vampire Nation, issue number 1. This is cover A. I've been waiting for a new Blade series for a very long time, and going into this one, I've not read a single thing with the Avengers, and it obviously says right on the front, from pages of the Avengers, so if there's an event or something that led to just this solo series, let me know down below in the comments section, but take this for what it is. As a new reader going into this one, the story didn't feel confusing at all. I mean, there were some things in the story that didn't make a whole lot of sense for me just being new going into it, but they made it very new reader friendly. And I like the artwork a lot as well. So this first issue, it was kind of more of a mystery. There's an assassination in Stravmore, just a vampire nation, and Blade is tasked by Dracula to figure out just who put the hit out. That was the part that kind of didn't make a lot of sense to me. I've read so much stuff back in the day of just Blade trying to kill Dracula, and now he's helping him out. But the cool thing about this issue, like I said, it's kind of more of a mystery. It's just one thing leads to another. Blade's doing a lot of detective work. I really like that. But some spoilers are about to happen, so if you don't want to hear spoilers, just skip on to the next one. So you kind of figure out what happens at the very end. I wish they would have continued on with just all the detective stuff throughout just the next couple of issues, but I'm still very excited to see what they do with it. So for those reasons, we've got coming in at number 7 this week, we've got Marvel's new one, Blade Vampire Nation, issue number 1. And next up on my list this week, we've got coming in at number 6. This is Boom Studios, Something is Killing the Children, issue number 26. This is cover A. You guys already know I hyped this series up enough. I absolutely love it. I love the storytelling. I love the artwork, just the character and plot developments. I feel like as the series progresses, it's only getting better and better. Now, I know some of those earlier issues are very expensive, but I definitely recommend trying to find some of the trade paperbacks. Grab the hardcover if you can. This is a series you do not want to miss out on. So if you can recall from the last couple of issues, a lot of stuff has been happening. We get a lot of new characters, we get some new monsters, a lot of action, just a lot of chaos is going on. So it was bound to happen, but this issue was definitely on the slower side. They're trying to regroup at this point. They're recovering from all the attacks that happened at the lodge. So while they're trying to figure out what their next move is, Cutter has finally made it to town, and she made contact with the cop who's also trying to figure out what's going on with Erica and all the attacks as well. That's pretty much everything that happened in this issue. Like I said, it was on the slower side, but man, this series is just so good. Definitely check it out. And for those reasons, we've got coming in at number 6 this week, we've got Boom Studios, Something is Killing the Children, issue number 26. And here we go, folks. We're down to the top 5 issues of the week. So coming in at number 5 this week, we've got Vault's brand new one, Door to Door, Night by Night, issue number 1. This is cover A. This was an extremely last-second pickup, and honestly, the only reason I grabbed it was because I needed another issue to fill out a top 10 list, and I am so happy that I picked this one up. My shop doesn't typically have a lot of the smaller indie publishers these days, so they don't carry a lot of Vault, but I think they only had 2 copies left, and I thought, you know, brand new series, it's a horror one, why not give it a shot? And I am so happy that I did. Now, I'm not going to be getting too in-depth with it, but I really enjoyed the artwork. I thought it was extremely well done. And as far as the story goes, I didn't know what I was going to be getting myself into off the bat. I kept trying to guess what was going to happen next, and by the time we hit the ending, I had no idea that that's where this story was going to be going. Now, I'm not going to tell you what the big reveal was, but a little bit about this first issue is we have a hitchhiker. She's pretty much our main character. We learn a lot more about her as the issue progresses. But she meets up with just this traveling salesman group, and they're going door to door. They're trying to sell pictures for these firefighters. A lot of stuff happens from there. I don't know what their whole motive is. Maybe they're conning people. Maybe they actually are selling just these coupons for pictures, but stuff happens. We learn all of their backstories, and then that's when we start to get this big reveal. She gets fixated on this house. There's something about this house that's drawing our main character towards it. Now, take that for what it is. If you had a light week, definitely pick this one up. Let me know what you thought about it down below. And for those reasons, we've got Vault's brand new one, Door to Door, Night by Night, issue number 1. Next up this week at number 4, we've got Marvel's new one, Murder World Avengers, issue number 1. This is cover A. I wasn't expecting to pick this one up this week, but I saw Zub was on it, and I was like, oh, I gotta give this one a shot. This first issue had no business being this good. There's a lot of new Marvel series where I just chalk it up to just being a cash grab. It's just cheap, it's poorly written, but this one, I really recommend this first issue. This one was so much better than I thought it was going to be, but I will say, I didn't really like the artwork at all. The first couple pages of the story, I wasn't really digging it. I didn't like the direction. I just didn't think it was going to be this good, but after we found out what exactly was going on and we actually got into all the action and the murder world, this was a action-packed, awesome first issue. So a little bit about it. We get introduced to our main character right off the bat. We learn he's a streamer. He's some sort of YouTuber. He's got a ton of followers. He's very rich at a very young age. but he's doing just some investigative detective work behind the mystery of Murder World. He's trying to find Murder World, and he does. But then from there, he gets an invite from Arcade to Murder World, but he thinks he's going to be filming a documentary there, but so much other stuff happens, and I'm telling you, like I said, this one was so much better than I thought it was going to be. And for those reasons, we've got coming in at number 4 this week, we've got Marvel's new one, Murder World Avengers issue number 1. And now we're down to the final 3 issues of the week. So coming in at number 3, we've got Images, Junkyard Joe, issue number 2. This is cover A. This is a very solid follow-up to that first issue. I mean, it wasn't as good as the first one, but that first one was just so good, it was going to be very hard to top it. But they still executed a very well-told story. I love the artwork in this series as well. So this one, it's all focused on Muddy Davis. He is the creator of the Junkyard Joe comic strip. It's all post-war. He's older now, and he's just trying to deal with everything that happened to him over the years. He recently lost his wife, and he's bringing the comic strip Junkyard Joe to an end. He's moving past that, and he's trying to just start a new chapter of his life. He's still trying to think about all the stuff that happened in the war too. Was Junkyard Joe real? Everyone kept telling him that never happened, when obviously to him it did. Some stuff happens from there, but like I said, a little bit slower of an issue. They're just focused on Muddy Davis. They're focused on him and just everything that he's achieved and accomplished over the years. But here's where the twist happens, and it turns out, so some spoilers are about to happen, Junkyard Joe actually shows up late at night, and it just kind of blows his mind. Junkyard Joe, all these years after being told wasn't real, is actually real, but there's people that are now infiltrating their town who are after Junkyard Joe. I love this series so far. I know it's only 2 issues deep, but if you really enjoy Geiger, you have to pick this one up as well. And for those reasons, we've got coming in at number 3 this week, we've got Images, Junkyard Joe, issue number 2. Down to the final 2 issues of the week. So coming in at number 2 this week, we've got Images, 10,000 Black Feathers, issue number 3. This is cover B. I know it's only 3 issues deep, but I am a huge fan of the series so far. I always have to remind you, I'm a big fan of Jeff Lemire and Andrea Sorrentino, so some bias obviously comes into play with this stuff. But with this series, I feel like every issue just brought something new to the table. The first one, we got introduced to everybody, the mystery behind what's going on with that one main character. The second issue, we dove a little bit more into their relationship. We got to see them working together. They're writing that book, and they're just playing with each other. Now this third one, we're going a little bit more back and forth. We're seeing what happened when that one main character disappeared, and now how the other one is handling things, where she's going in just present day. This is such a fun series. But like I said, some of these series that they come out with, they're a little bit more on the slower side. They do a mystery of everything, but the payoff is always worth the wait. Let's talk about it more down below. And for those reasons, we've got coming in at number 2 this week, we've got Images, 10,000 Black Feathers, issue number 3. And here we go, folks. This is it, my number 1 read of the week. So coming in at number 1 this week, this is Images' brand new one. We've got Chroma, issue number 1. This is cover B. This first issue was so much better than I thought it was going to be. Now, it is an oversized $7.99 issue, so take that for what it is when you're headed to your LCS this week, but I'll tell you what, this was fantastic. I love the storytelling, I love the artwork, the coloring, when there was colors in this book, was all extremely well done, and when I was done reading it, I felt like I definitely got my money's worth. So with this first issue, I'm not going to be getting too in-depth with it, you definitely need to read it for yourselves, but we get introduced to our main character, and he's from the Pale City, and there's pretty much zero color in this city. Their whole kingdom, they're scared of color, they fear color, and over the years and just evolution and everything that they've done, they've basically just diluted themselves and everything in the city of all color. And now I knew going into it, it had to deal with monsters, but I'll tell you what, they gave us a awesome plot twist in this one as well. So like I said, I don't want to spoil too much. You definitely got to read this one for yourself. And for those reasons, we absolutely have coming in at number 1 this week, we've got Images, Chroma, issue number 1. And that's a wrap on this week's top 10 list of books, folks. I hope you enjoyed this video. Be sure to comment down below what your top read of the week was and which ones you think I missed out on. And thanks for watching this video. If you did enjoy it, be sure to hit that thumbs up button. And if you don't want to miss out on any of my upcoming content, go ahead and hit that subscribe button down below with notification bells turned on. You won't regret it. I've got 2 more sitting off to the side here with more of my comic book content. Click on one of those and I'll see you in the next one. Have a great day.